Welcome back, everybody. Another episode, Sammy and Marissa's husbands. It's Sunday. Uh, Freaking NFL football is about to start. It's like 11:30 for me. Game start at 12 because I'm on Central Time. Pretty short episode today. It's actually just me. So a good old solo for you guys. I know how much you love those solo episodes. So it's gonna be a quick one. Um, I didn't really feel like pestering friends to be a guest because I know sometimes that is a large muscle movement and it does take uh, like 2.5 hours out of your day. So figured we just do a short one today. We pretty much just talk um, some football, some fantasy football, probably let you in on some of the mistakes I'm going to make and who I'm going to start and sit, and it'll probably be terrible, terrible decisions. So you'll be listening to this Monday morning, probably laughing at me as as I go through that pain of starting the wrong people. But um, we'll just jump into lives of recent first. It's been a pretty standard week. Uh, I had a big project due on Thursday and Friday. I got to present it on Thursday morning at like 10 a.m. So it's an hour-long presentation. Presented it. I was done at 11. I passed. I don't know what grade I got yet, but I did pass. So got to come home at like 11 a.m. on Thursday and kind of have like a 3.5 day weekend. It was pretty nice. Not gonna lie. There are perks to my job. There are also downfalls, but yeah, uh, pretty nice having a long weekend. So I got to do a little bit. Sam was actually out of town, so I had the weekend to myself, which is kind of a rare occurrence having a long weekend all to myself. But I uh, I kind of took advantage of that. I took the dogs to the river Saturday and Sunday. So today I took them to the river and let them swim because I kind of feel bad if, we're just kind of cooped up watching football and they are just, sitting here whining at me so they can go do things. But yeah, both times about an hour. So swimming wears him out. And Kobe is a swimming fool. He is like all up in the water, just all over the place. Jazz kind of just likes to lay there in the water and like it's all cold water. Like there's no way the water's over 60 degrees. Like it's chilly. And I just kind of like stand in it with them. So I'm like almost in an ice bath. It's pretty chilly. But so that was fun. And then Saturday I just got to watch college football all day. That was nice. Not gonna get too in depth on college football. My Tar Heels did win. Um, I'd say they beat Richmond. I don't even know the final score, but I think we held them to three. It ended up being like 40-3. So the final score sounds like we played really well, but it just seemed like we lacked a little bit of a sense of urgency. The defense did play better. We only let up like 3 points. Can't remember if they scored in garbage time or not, but the defense played better. But Richmond was honestly like trash cans. And for a team that like Carolina that still has a lot to prove, they played Charlotte and they played an okay game against Charlotte after getting demolished by TCU. But for a team that, they're back at home and they have a lot to prove, they just didn't really seem like they had a sense of urgency to me. It was a lot of, still running the ball. Like I know we need to establish the run, but we got this quarterback and if we have so much faith in him, like let him throw it around. And then when you got a two touchdown lead, like maybe let's experiment a little bit and see if this dude can actually throw the ball. Uh, Gio Lopez, I don't think is it. I think Max Johnson needs to be the starter. We went up 40-3. He didn't get any reps in the game. It's kind of concerning. We put the third string quarterback in, who's like a freshman lefty, kind of an athletic dude. He threw a pick on his first pass attempt. So that was a little alarming. But I don't know. I don't love. I feel like there's a disconnect. Freddie Kitchens is the like play caller on offense. He's the only staff member that was hanging around from the last staff and ended up getting a promotion essentially because he was just the tight ends coach under Mac Brown, and now he's the play caller under Belichick. So I'm not sure how that happened, but uh, Steve Belichick drives me absolutely crazy. He has his little like half ponytail type deal. which is absurd. It looks absolutely terrible. And he just looks confused the whole game. Like the whole time he's out there, like he just looks like he doesn't have any idea what's going on. And he just drives me crazy. But um I did win two bets. Let me pull them up. So I was 2-0 on the day in college football, two bets. I've been keeping track, so I have this notes page, and I'm doing okay since the start of like football season. But yesterday specifically, I had Georgia Tech money line versus Clemson. Clemson, I haven't really liked what I've seen from them because I've watched both their games before this, and then Georgia Tech, their quarterback, Haynes King, he's like this white dude quarterback that runs. Georgia Tech's offense is kind of on the line of being an option offense. They used to be back in the day, but now they're not so much anymore. But he's legit, and they ended up pulling it out with like a fire hose run on the field last second field goal to win. So that was a really good game to watch. And then I had LSU -4.5 versus Florida. I watched that game last night. Sorry, Mike. Uh, that was probably hard to watch because you guys, I think, lost 20-10. And you absolutely could have won that game, but your quarterback threw five interceptions. And a close game like that and throwing five interceptions is hard to lose. That really sucks. But overall, I'm happy with that. 2-0 on the day. I'll take my wins as I can get them because I'll probably lose a lot of bets today. Um, but today, watching football all day. It's gonna be a fun day. Um, not doing a whole lot, just kind of dedicating the entire day to being on the couch and probably watching my fantasy team shit the bed. But speaking of fantasy football, so I'm gonna kind of go through my lineups of who I have playing and what I'm doing. So my first league is a PPR league. It's a $50 buy-in. I'm 1-0. I'm projected 123.5 points today to my opponent's 130. So 47% win percentage. Not the best outlook I've ever had, but um, there's definitely a chance. So I have the Burrow Higgins stack in this league, and after last week, I'm not high on the Bengals at all, but I feel like I have to start Burrow. I do have uh, Daniel Jones on my bench. Actually, never mind, that's not this league. So he's my only quarterback on the roster right now, so we're rolling with him. Um, T. Higgins, man, I feel like this Jacksonville Bengals game is going to be high scoring, so I'm just going to roll with them. But I got Burrow, Bijan Robinson, Derrick Henry, T. Higgins, Jameson Williams, Laporta, Bucky Irving, Lions D, Harrison Butker. So that's my lineup right now. I'm going through some pretty internal debate about two players on this team, and it's Bucky Irving or Breece Hall. They're projected around the same points. I like Bucky Irving. He really played well for me last year. I had him on my team. Breece Hall played really well last week, and I think he's going to be a big part of the offense, especially with Justin Fields. And he actually got some targets last week, which was uh, pretty good to see. Bucky Irving also played pretty well, not as well as Breece Hall, but I feel like Bucky might be a little bit more consistent. Breece Hall, they're playing Buffalo. I'm starting Garrett Wilson in another league, so I feel like Buffalo's going to have to take one of them away, and I think they're going to focus on the run game. I think they're going to try and stop Breece Hall and Justin Fields from running and say, Justin, if you can beat us throwing, then props to you. Um, so I don't know. Buffalo really struggled against Derrick Henry. Um, so maybe I'm making the wrong decision, but we're rolling with it. I think I'm gonna go Bucky. And then I got Jameson Williams here. I'm debating him or Keon Coleman. Um, they're close in points as well. Jameson Williams is playing Chicago. I think Chicago is kind of trash, and I think the Lions have something to prove. They're at home at Ford Field in their little dome. So I think I could see Jameson Williams scoring a touchdown for me in some kind of like end around reverse or whatever it is. So I'm hoping he gets some pretty good volume. Keon Coleman played really good last week. He got a lot of targets, but um, The Jets, so Sauce Gardner last week was like the first week that he shadowed a receiver in DJ Metcalf. DK Metcalf. He doesn't typically do that, but I'm thinking he might actually do that again this week because Keon Coleman's really like he's like their guy, you know? So I'm thinking they're gonna try and take him out of it. So I'm gonna roll with Jameson Williams, and I hope I don't regret that. I even thought about Stephon Diggs. The Patriots are playing Miami. Diggs got like 7 targets last week, but I could see potentially the Patriots getting a lead and then just kind of running the ball. So I'm gonna leave Diggs on my bench, and that's what we'll go with. So I don't know. I'm sure that we'll be listening to this Monday, and you'll be like, "You idiot! You literally told us what you were thinking, and you started the two wrong people." But it is what it is. My second league that we'll talk about is the league I'm in with Mike. It's also a PPR league. It's a $25 buy-in. So Mike acts like, it's below him, beneath him, that it's only $25 buy-in, but you heard what happened with Disney, so we'll just leave it at that. Um, I'm 0-1 in that league, and I'm projected 131.15 in this week, and my opponent's projected 130. So Uh, pretty even. I really don't want to start 0-2. I had Jordan Love play on Thursday, who played pretty well, 20.88. You know how I feel about the Packers. They're my dark horse for the Super Bowl this year. I think my way too early pick. I got McCaffrey who, there's some weird stuff going on in San Fran. They got a lot of people hurt. I think Kittle's on the IR. Really nobody to throw it to. Brock Purdy's out. So I'm hoping that Mac Jones just hands it off a bunch and then is afraid to throw it downfield, so he just checks it down to McCaffrey a lot, which I could totally see happening. They're also playing New Orleans, so New Orleans isn't that great. So that's what I'm hoping for there. Got Amorion Hampton is my second running back. They play Las Vegas on Monday night. I'm a little nervous about Hampton as he made some rookie mistakes their first week, and I could see them giving Najee Harris more touches. I think Hampton got like 79% of the touches in week one. I definitely think that number is going to be closer to even this week, and I'm just hoping that Hampton maybe breaks a couple. Uh, he's projected 15.71, which I think is probably a little optimistic, but we'll see how that goes. Neighbors, which is a must start against Dallas. McConkey again, you know how I feel about the whole. I think we talked about Keenan Allen versus McConkey, and now Allen looks like he's going to be the safety net for Herbert. Um, I don't love that because I wanted McConkey to be the safety net. I'm hoping the script flips a little bit and he gets the lion's share of the targets. I got Jawan Johnson as my tight end. I really didn't have a good tight end in this league, so I'm basically streaming tight ends, but he played really well last week. They're playing San Francisco, who's a little banged up. I'm hoping that he gets the same amount of targets that he did last week. He got 11 targets last week, 8 receptions. So it looks like he's going to be the guy for Spencer Rattler. I think that's their quarterback. It looks like he's going to be the guy that they kind of lean on when there's no one to throw the ball. So 15 points from him would be huge, like he got last week, but I think that's a little optimistic as well. Starting Garrett Wilson as my flex against Buffalo. Like I said, I think they're going to try and take the run away. So I think Garrett Wilson is probably a good start. I got Cardinals defense against Carolina, which they had 2 turnovers last week, sacked 4 times, something like that, probably even more. So I could see that totally happening again. Carolina's definitely going 0-2. And I got the Ravens kicker. Don't really have any start or sit questions. I do have Daniel Jones in this league, but I didn't start him over Jordan Love. I did pick him up though because I think he's going to have a pretty solid season. Um, yeah, I got some notable people on my bench, but not anybody that I'm really wanting to start over who I got. Um, but yeah, that's about it for fantasy. Make fun of me in the comments. once all of my lineup decisions come back and haunt me. But we'll go into some kind of NFL stuff, and I've been doing this thing, and it's fun. I'm not going to win ever probably, but I'm basically putting in a parlay of every single game, and I'm just picking. So no like uh no spreads or anything like that. I'm just picking the winners. And what we've been doing is I've had Sam pick with me, and basically I let her be the veto decision. Like if we disagree on something, I'll just go with what she wants because it's a way that like I can sit here on the couch and watch football all day, and she has some sort of, you know, dog in the fight, essentially, for the games because then she's like, "Oh, we picked them. I want them to win," etc. So it's been a fun way to kind of like get her involved and me not feel so bad for just sitting here all day. So I'm basically going to go game by game and just pick. So, um, Buffalo Bills versus New York Jets. That's the first game on the list. I want to say the Jets for Tyler's birthday, but I just don't see it. They lost to the Steelers. I think the Bills are much better than the Steelers. I think the Bills pull it out. It is in New York, but well, I guess I have to specify it is at home. It's a home game for the Jets. Um, but I'm going to take the Bills there. Then Bears versus Lions. Lions at home. I'm definitely going to take the Lions. I don't think there's any surprise. Ravens versus Browns. I do think this is a little closer than people realize it's going to be. They're favored by 13 points, but I'm going to ultimately take the Ravens. I think it's going to be a fairly close game. So if I was just betting individually, I might take the Browns plus 13. Jaguars versus Bengals. This is kind of interesting. It's in Cincinnati. Um, Jags looked okay last week, but they played the Panthers, so that's not really saying much. I do think this is probably going to be a pretty high scoring game. Um, but I have to root for the Bengals because I got the stack of Burrow and Higgins, so I don't really have a choice there. Rams at Titans. I'm just going to take Rams because I really don't trust the Titans with anything. New England at Miami. Miami's actually favored at home, um, which, makes me think that they know something that we don't know. Man, that's a tough one actually. Because I feel like the Dolphins got like low key embarrassed last week, and I feel like they're really gonna want to, they had their players only meeting, etc. I don't know though. Tua just looks bad, but we're gonna roll with the Dolphins. I'm not starting Stephon Diggs on fantasy, so we're gonna roll with the Dolphins. They gotta come back and just freaking figure something out. Then we got Giants versus Cowboys. I think that is a bloodbath. The Giants suck. Russell Wilson looks terrible. 49ers at New Orleans. 49ers are really banged up. New Orleans is at home. Have McCaffrey, and I also have Jawan Jennings. I'm gonna throw an upset in there. Actually, no, I'm not. I'm taking 49ers. Mac Jones is gonna play decent. We'll go 49ers to come out. Pittsburgh versus Seahawks. Pittsburgh had a big win um, against the Jets. Aaron Rodgers looked like he was back to his old self, but I think Corey said it best. It happened last year. Aaron Rodgers came back. Somebody glazed him on the air, and then he sucked the rest of the season. So we're going Seahawks in that game. Panthers versus Cardinals. We're definitely taking Cardinals. Unfortunately, I wish we had a shot, but we don't. Denver at Indianapolis. We're gonna have to send it with Indianapolis. Um, you know, Corey's optimistic. I know he said that he's that they are his way too early Super Bowl contender. We're gonna see if they're legit. I think Bo Nix and the Broncos are better than people think they are, but we're gonna roll with the Colts. Eagles at Kansas City Chiefs. I think the Eagles just have too much for them, especially with a bunch of Kansas City receivers out. Um, I think they kind of handle it pretty good. Um, Atlanta. So this is the night game tonight. Atlanta at Minnesota. Um, this is the tough one, kind of, because I don't really believe in Minnesota. However, I definitely don't believe in Atlanta. I do have Bijan, so I want to think that they're gonna, play good. He's gonna score some touchdowns. But the Vikings at home, I think I'm gonna take the Vikings. This one's interesting. Tampa Bay versus Houston in Houston. I think I think I'm gonna roll with Tampa Bay. There's gonna have to be one NFC South team that kind of separates himself, and I think that's gonna be the Buccaneers. Houston, I think, lost last week. They didn't look great. I know they're at home, they're wanting to win, but I'm gonna go with the Buccaneers there. And then we have the night game, which is Chargers versus Raiders. Chargers are favored by 3. They're my way too early Super Bowl pick. I am definitely taking them. I think Herbert looks really good. They're not my way too early Super Bowl pick. Herbert's my way too early MVP candidate. So Herbert's going to go crazy. Amarion Hampton's going to score 2 touchdowns. It's just going to be a good day for the Chargers. But I think that rounds out my picks for the week. Let's see if we can go to the bet slip. Let's see. All right, I'm putting in $1 to win $1,386. So we'll see if I win. Um, Probably not. I will probably get you know, 40% wrong. But that's what we're going with. So that's kind of my NFL Sunday picks. We'll see. You guys can laugh at me Monday when I was right on, less than half, but it is what it is. Then we'll jump into some Pat's peeves and then kind of close this out and let me get on with my day and have at it. But first Pat's peeve is I was driving the other day and there's a fly in like the very front crack of my windshield. And like it's in the front of your windshield and it's just sitting there buzzing around and being super annoying, but you can't quite reach it because it's in like the middle. You can kind of swipe at it, but for some reason it just goes further and further into the crack and you just can't reach it. So basically, it like I'm driving, so I can't stop and like really get to it. So basically it just buzzes the entire time I'm in the car. And then when I finally get to where I'm going, it disappears. I don't know where it goes. I don't know if it's like way down in the crack, so I can't get it out. And then next time I get in the car, it's just freaking there buzzing around again. So that's Pat's peeve, fly in the front crack of your windshield. And then second Pat's peeve, and the last thing I gotta say is Friday, I had this long weekend. So Friday, I went to, what did I do first? I kind of I woke up like on my own time, made some breakfast, and then I went to the golf course. I was gonna play 18. I was by myself. It was Friday at 10 a.m., so nobody was gonna be at the course. I was pretty excited. I get there, and as I suspected, not a car in the parking lot. And I walk in to like pay for my round and they're like, "Oh, I'm sorry. There's a CG scramble, which is like our commanding general scramble." So obviously there was going to be like a bunch of high-ranking people there and they're like, "You have to be off the course in 30 minutes. So unfortunately, you can't play." And I was like, "That sucks." I just hit a bucket of balls, which probably was better for me anyway. Um, Hit okay. Driver. I'm telling you, I figured out the driver. Irons, I did all right with. I'm really working on like swinging down on the ball with the irons. Some videos I've seen, kind of letting the iron do the work. But yeah, so that was annoying. I went there to play 18. Really thought I was gonna dedicate like 2 hours, 3 hours, and kind of take my time and play 18 by myself. But of course, got turned away, so that sucks. Um, but yeah, other than that, I don't really have anything. I'm hoping next week we'll be able to kind of be back to our regularly scheduled program and have Marissa's husband back. That way we'll be able to just get back in the swing of things. If not, I definitely won't do 2 solos in a row. But I just figured I'd give you guys something. Kobe's barking. He don't like me talking to myself. But you know, I don't think you guys love just listening to a solo pod. So we'll get back in something. I won't do a solo next week. If Tyler can't do it, then we'll just get another guest on. Um, I think we need some feedback when we do the guest. Do you guys want like to keep doing a friend from the friend group? So like a guest of someone that actually listens, a guest as someone who actually listens, or would you like kind of more of a random guest, somebody that you guys, may know, but don't really hear from too much. So I guess maybe leave that in the comments or just shoot us a random text message or whatever about what you prefer when guests are necessary. But other than that, not a whole lot going on. So everybody enjoy the week, get after it. As Mike says, it's easy peasy.